Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com, and today we're looking at the DX6E from Spektrum. In an article on RC Groups, I'm going over 10 cool things about this new transmitter. So I thought I would do a quick video and just talk about some of those things. The number one thing for me is the price, $149.99, $150. If you are a DX user, I use a DX9. This is the same format, the same menu system, everything. So for 150 bucks, you're getting a secondary transmitter, very little money that does and operates the way your more expensive transmitter works. Also, it has a wireless transmitter link. So that's interesting to me. All you'd have to do is go into your setup and I'm going to jump in there. And then I'm going to actually look at the screen here, and we're going to go to trainer. And so the cool thing about this is that it's a wireless trainer. So if you have a DX9, a DX18, something in the DX family, you can go to the bind button and bind this to that transmitter. And then this will be able to wirelessly work with your other transmitter. And once it's bound, the model match technology will allow the DX6E to relink without having to go through the bind process again. So that means that once I bind this to my DX9, it will always be bound to that transmitter, which is awesome. The next one is multi-rotor flight mode. Now you can see that right here. A lot of transmitters don't include this, and if you are a quad pilot, it's nice to have a system that actually is made for quads, so you can go in and control different aspects of a quad and not set it up like an airplane. So let's go on to number 4. This is pretty interesting. It's the spring configuration switch. So right now you see it's pretty standard. The throttle is, everything's set the way that you would expect it to be set. We're going to flip it over here carefully. And on the very back is this little window. You pop this open, and by sliding this slider, you can change the way your sticks work. So the interesting one is in the center. So if we were to, and this is not an easy slide. Oops. Okay, so you take this off that holds it into place, and then we're going to center this. Okay, so I just hit the center, so check this out. So now these sticks are centered. So that might be handy if you're running using this as a secondary gimbal transmitter. And so that's pretty cool. Now another interesting thing is a lap timer. So let's say you're on a quad or a wing or whatever. You can set your lap timer up on a switch, which is its default to switch A back there. And then you take your wheel and move it over, and so when you flip the switch, it says 1 right there, it'll make lap 2. So when you're ready to race, you flip your switch and start your new lap, and then it gives you times for all your laps. And you can also, let's see if I can make this happen, you can also go back and start a new heat or review and look at your times. Here we go. There we go. And so then you can review your times. So this is kind of a manual thing right now, but they are saying that this will be able to work with an IR signal. So you'd put a sensor on your quad or your plane and an IR signal on a gate, a starting gate. And every time you would fly by, it would know that it's starting or going to lap 2, 3, 4. So that's coming in the future. Very awesome. Forward-thinking design, I think, for guys who like to race. And so, let me get out of here. And it's over. No, it's not. That's just the countdown timer. So the video transmitter channel control, this is pretty interesting. This works with Spektrum branded video transmitters for FPV pilots, and allows you to change your video channel from the transmitter. So I haven't actually utilized this. I was on the phone today. So let's see if I can find this in the menu. believe it is down here, yes. And so, as you can see, let me get the focus rolling here. You can pick the channel, the band, the power, which is interesting. I'd have to have the actual unit to see how this exactly works. 500, 250, 25. And then there's a race and a pit, which means that I guess you could operate this in the pits and not blow your signal out onto the race area while you're working on your quad or whatever. And so then you can change your bands and your channel. Very interesting. Not something I've seen before. Pretty awesome. Okay, we're going to get complicated here, and I'm just going to describe the next thing. It's a digital switch menu. So the digital switch setup allows you to generate flight modes in any switch position. So your middle switch is normally horizon mode. With this DX6E, you can put the horizon mode on any switch position that you choose, as well as adding multiple switches to get more flight modes. Very cool. And finally, telemetry and telemetry warnings. And I'll jump back out. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see if we can find telemetry warnings in the menu here. Monitor, VTX, setup, telemetry. And so with this, you have a full range of telemetry. If you have a telemetry receiver, there are a lot of things that this can check. And some of those are RSSI, voltage, flight log info, flight log, our flight pack voltage, RPM, volts, temp, airspeed, altitude, G-force, GPS, last model, RX pack milliamps, and many more things. So this is, once again, a $149 transmitter. It feels good in the hand. The sticks, I have no complaints. I'm sure there are people that are connoisseurs of gimbals, but these feel fine to me. The only thing I'm missing are some sliders. There's no sliders on this thing, and there's no voice. But once again, $149.99. Pretty awesome. Check out the whole story on rcgroups.com. 10 cool things about the DS6E. I'm excited to have it. Jim T. Graham, rcgroups.com.